And gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the Brighton Centre. This is the semi-final stages of the Paddy Power Champions League of Darts, coming to you live on BBC as we welcome the millions of viewers joining us around the world. And now it's time to meet the players. Ladies and gentlemen, a repeat of last year's final. And now, would you please welcome from Austria, the reigning and defending champion, the gentle Mensur Suljovic! And now, ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 World Match Play Champion and UK Open Champion, a two-time Premier League champion and a two-time back-to-back champion of the world, the Flying Scotsman, Gary Anderson!
Hope you can feel them jumping back home. Deep breaths, everyone. This, the best of 21. Talking you through the first semi-final. Vasilos Alexander and Mark Webster.
Thank you, Caroline. A repeat then of last year's final. A repeat of the World Match Play final of 2 months ago. A mouth-watering, intriguing, beguiling match of darts in prospect. A man who's never lost in the Champions League. 8 wins and counting for Suljovic, against the man who seems to be on a mission to mop up the trophies missing from his mantelpiece. Suljovic from Vienna in Austria, the 6th seed here, 46 years of age. He's never lost in this tournament, and he was awesome this afternoon. Gary Anderson, fresh from that victory in the World Match Play. How's his back? Because his darts are awesome. He threw, he says, the 3 best darts of his life. His words, not mine. The 3 best darts of his life this afternoon to take out 140, to beat MVG, to stay alive in the tournament. The first 11 legs through to the final this evening.
First leg, Mensur to throw first. Game on.
Suljovic with the darts then. And we are underway in the semi-finals in Brighton. If you're planning your evening cups of tea, we now have a quick break after 7 legs
41.
and after 14.
Yeah, contrasting games for both players this afternoon. No drama in the Mensur game, and the Gary Anderson game with Michael Van Gerwen was full of drama. 7 darts into a perfect 9 darter for Gary, and that 140 finish to get over the line. Fantastic effort, but he's got to do it all again now against Mensur.
60.
Suljevic, a 40-1 shot before a dart was thrown in Cardiff last year. Kept telling everyone there was no way he could win. But we know now not to believe him when he says that. 5 wins out of 5 last year, 3 wins out of 3 here this weekend.
140.
Almost the first maximum of the semi-finals. He's had 9 so far this weekend. Suljevic, Anderson, 21 and counting.
96.
Yeah, you touched on there. Mensah just sort of deflecting the pressure off himself last year. He's been trying to do it this year, but we're not buying it. He's the defending champion for a reason, and we know deep down he thinks he can win this tournament again.
85.
Absolutely packed in the Brighton centre. And they have an added incentive to come. If you haven't been with us so far this weekend, you may not know that if we do have a perfect 9-dart leg, then the £50,000 prize on offer doesn't go to the player who hits it, although he does get £5,000. It's shared between the crowd.
135, Gary, 121.
This for an early breaker throw for Gary Anderson. Treble 17 would have left the bullseye.
Yeah, and look on the switch there, Gary just next door. So 3 at Mensah for a holder throw in the opening leg. No sign of nerves there on the doubles, Mensah Suljevic. Solid start.
He's held his throw so well this weekend.
100.
And he's picked his moment to break.
Yeah, we touched on that. He's been holding with relative ease to a point, and when given the chance, he's taken it, and he's taken control of the game. He's been very professional in all his 3 group games, and he'd be looking to do similar tonight. Just any sort of glitch in Gary's arm, he'll be there to take the chance.
Gary Anderson here, 2 times a world champion, twice
100.
a Premier League winner, and we mentioned that World Match Play final in July in Blackpool. He beat Mensah Suljevic 21-19 in a cracking final. Hit a 9-dart leg that week as well, Anderson, and he became just the 3rd player to complete the so-called triple
60.
crown.
Yeah, those guys was at 21-19, over 40 legs of darts. They were, I think Gary averaged over 101, Mensah was up by 104. So these guys can maintain it at the highest level for big distances. So compared to the match play final, this is a relatively short format.
Mensah Suljevic here won the German Masters in May.
82.
He was relegated in his first Premier League season, but did play well at times. And as we say, reached that final in Blackpool.
59.
Yeah, Mensah can count himself very unlucky in the Premier League. He had the 3rd highest throwing average, throwing around about 99. But just a bit unlucky, really, to be eliminated after the 9 weeks is very tough. And I'm sure he'll get another go, and he'll know what it's about. He'll be a bit wiser next year.
77, Gary, 150.
3 perfect darts from Suljevic to pressure the 150, which won't now be taken out by Gary Anderson, and a chance for the man they call the gentle, although his darts are nothing but, to break for a 2-0 lead. Bullseye for double 16, so 17. Leaves 1 dart at double top. Hit it in the last leg.
62. Gary,
Not this time.
70.
Not to be for Mensah there, so triple 10 for Gary. 2 darter tops. Just underneath. Good luck second dart for Gary Anderson. He needed that because we know what happens when Suljevic gets that break. He normally hammers home the advantage. He's been defending his throw really well throughout this competition.
85.
He did nearly quit the Premier League in February, didn't he, through injury, Gary Anderson, and he has been complaining about a bad back this weekend.
Yeah, it's one of those injuries. It's in terms of throwing darts, it's the worst injury to have, and back injuries are niggles that they take a while to get rid of. And in an ideal scenario, like you said, you need rest, but the Premier League's relentless. Gary had to keep going back every Thursday, but credit to him, he made the top 4, losing out to Michael Smith, but in all that adversity with a bad back, he still performed and could have challenged if the back had been right. But He said it was only a little niggle. He felt a tiny bit better earlier on when I speak to him. It's just one of them, but when he overstretches on a dart, it can aggravate it.
There we go, the first of many, we think,
60.
in the semi-finals and final this evening. Michael van Gerwen against Peter Wright to come in the second semi-final. Then a break of about 20 minutes before the final.
64.
Good last start from Mentor there. There was no pressure on the shot. Gary back on 2.79. Mentor will return at 3 at 32.
99. 32.
Everybody on their feet, standing up as they love the darts, as Suljovic takes aim at the green bit, double 16. Finds it with his first dart and holds his throw.
In Mentor's interview earlier, he was saying that he gets really nervous during games. He's settled here really well, and he looked really calm all afternoon today and yesterday. If he does settle from nerves, he hides it really well.
Yeah, we know not to believe him now, don't we? When he was on his way to that interview, Dan Dawson and I had just done a little thing about who we think's going to win the final, and he was on his way down to the little interview room we've got here at the Brighton Centre. He was laughing and joking. He looked so relaxed, so happy, so focused, so at ease. He's just having fun.
Yeah, definitely. We touched on it. You play darts with a smile on your face, you're going to play your best game, and that's what Mentor does all the time.
45.
He's very happy playing the game, and over the last 2 years, he's been unreal. He's made massive strides, major wins, Premier League appearances, and top 8, top 6 in the world.
He belongs now, doesn't he, in this company? He really does belong.
Oh, without doubt. And we were touching on his elimination from the Premier League, but he wasn't out of place. He was just unlucky and fortunate. His throwing average is up near 100 for the whole 9 weeks, and he just couldn't get that bit of luck.
So how much can Gary take out of 175?
100.
Needed that last treble and got it.
Fancy Mentor to put a big score in here just to pressure the 75. May look at 25 now to leave 36.
135. Gary White 75.
Under pressure to hold his throw. 18 for tops. One dart at it.
35.
Chance for Suljovic.
46.
The darts.
18 maybe. Double 14, his favourite. 2 darts. It's a good marker. Just inside. Nasty deflection off the flight there into 11, so Gary gets another chance.
It's not often. Mensur Suljovic misses double 14. Gary Anderson takes advantage. And we're all square.
But already signal of intent for Mentor. He's had a dart and a double on the Gary Anderson throw on both occasions.
Anderson's chance perhaps now to pressure the Suljovic throw.
Yeah, good opening from Gary there.
60.
Feeling the pressure perhaps. He's nicked the darts, Anderson. What can you do with them? This is what he can do. Another ton 40.
It's all about timing. Gary, he could have been 4-0 down, you know, little pokes of Mentor in both legs, but Gary's gone off now. 6 darts thrown, consecutive 140s, and the Mentor throws under pressure.
Oh, but he responds with his third maximum of this semi-final. Doesn't leave him on a finish. And Anderson is still favourite to break the throw of Suljovic.
Yeah, Gary should get a dart at least at the ball on the 81 combination. What pressure will he be under?
95. Gary require 81.
Nothing between them. 2 legs apiece. Oh, it's in quick before it falls out. Double 12. Yes, that is a breaker throw for Gary Anderson.
Superb leg of that from Gary Anderson. 3 140s and the 81 combination. Just about with that triple 19.
12 dart leg to break the Suljevic throw.
135.
And he's feeling it now.
Gary's dart hanging in there must have brought memories back of when he had a 180 on the floor in the World Final against Phil Taylor. But still managed to regroup and win that set.
Oh yeah, fill it up. Yes.
If Gary does come through this first semi-final, I think he'll be glad of going on first, give that back some time, because obviously the second semi-final they only get a 20-minute or so break and they're straight back on, so he'll be thinking to try and get this done as quick as possible.
130.
It's another magnificent leg of darts from Gary Anderson. 9 thrown, 56 remaining.
99. Gary, you require 56.
Under no pressure whatsoever. 16. Oh, he's hit the 8. So another one for tops.
36.
No drama though. Gary knows he'll be coming back. Mental on 207.
58. Gary, you require 20.
Double 10. He only needed 1 in the last leg against Michael van Gerwen. Hit for double 5. Awkward double when you're switching it from double 10, but consolidated that breaker throw.
Didn't want to miss that, did he? Give Suljevic a chance to take out 149. It's the sort of thing he's been doing this weekend.
Yeah, of course, and he didn't want to miss it. He didn't want to come in inside, because you leave 5, even if Mensah doesn't take the 149. 5's a messy finish at the end. You've one little slip, you're busting the score, you're going to leave an awkward double. So, yeah, it was a good last start from Gary. Just starting to turn the screw on Mensah now.
60.
Mensah Suljevic has not been 2 legs down throughout this weekend. He's come through a close match.
42.
He was a brilliant front runner this afternoon, having lost the first leg against Simon Whitlock, won 10 in a row. But this is uncharted territory in the Champions League as far as Mensah Suljevic is concerned. That's how he navigates it.
Maximum score there for Mensah, and he needed it as well. 2 poor visits in his first 6 starts, just to get him back in front of the net. But he's still under pressure here on his throw again. There's a threat of going 2 breaks of throw down now. And like you said, it'd be uncharted territory for Mensah, who's only trailed to Rob Cross briefly in the opening game of the tournament.
140.
Needed that. They will have a quick break after this
52.
leg.
Mensah require 92.
He'll really want to take this out, to go in only 4-3 down.
Yeah, your feeling needs this. Double 6. 4-3. Good last start from Mensah.
Really good last start from Mensah, and this semi-final is still anyone's. Who's your money on then? Suljevic or Anderson? A 46-year-old from Austria, a 47-year-old from Scotland, and a place in the Champions League final this evening at stake. A repeat, as we said, of last year's final, which Suljevic won 11-9.
Hey, Gary to throw first. Game up.
But it's Anderson with the advantage, with the breaker throw, with the darts, leading 4-3 and starting like a train.
Straight back on it there, Gary Anderson. He was putting Mensah under all sorts of pressure in the back end of that first session, and he's picking up where he left off. Looks really comfortable up there, considering we were talking about the back injury. There's been no sign of it yet. He looks like he's dealing with it, and he's playing really well.
43.
Cross with himself for missing the first treble 20. He knew that the 9-darter was potentially on. Interesting slight change in dynamic between player and crowd, given that the crowd get the bonus. It's 25 quid each of their opponents. They get excited after the first 3 darts. Usually they wait till 4 or 5 or 6 to really start shouting.
123.
Yeah, but every time a player starts a leg with a maximum, everyone's on their feet.
Yeah, but it makes it exciting viewing, doesn't it? Because the crowd are going to give the guys the best of order because it's in their best interests.
100.
Peter Wright, Gary Anderson and Michael all threatening to hit the 9-darter.
We've had 7 darts, haven't we? 7 out of 9. We've not had a dart at a double yet.
No, 7 from Gary Anderson. It's just when switching down, he hasn't quite managed to be accurate with the treble 19.
Phil Taylor last year, I think maybe the year before, missed a double 12 for a 9-darter. Only just.
I think he went in the
Oh,
big
yes.
hand.
Double 18 to hold his throw, to move 2 legs clear again. That's the sideshow, the 9-dart leg. This is the main event, the semi-final. And Anderson, as we mentioned, does seem to be on a mission to try and win the tournaments that have eluded him so far in his stellar career.
Yeah, he's got a great approach to the game, Gary Anderson. When we were talking about how he manages his schedule really well when he does play the Pro Tour events. You know, I'm very jealous watching him there practicing away. He probably has 15 minutes on the board and
96.
inevitably sometimes wins the competition. He's so natural, and he knows how much practice he needs when he needs to play, and it's benefited in the last few years, picking up titles.
100.
Just had to pick his dart up a moment ago, Gary Anderson, and there was a slight wince. Oh, the back. The 47-year-old back.
Yeah, just a little wince there, but fortunate for Gary, it's only just because he dropped his dart. It's not happening during mid-throw. It doesn't seem to be aggravating him anyway. He's looking really fluent.
Yeah, this is still on. Not quite. The biggest finish there is, 170.
134.
He needs this, Suljovic, to hold his throw. Treble 20 and then his favourite double 14, but not to be.
100.
Second breaker throw for Gary Anderson now, 3 at 36. First start, looking very convincing, Gary, on the finishing. That's normally well, I say normally, if there is a glitch in Gary's game, it is the doubles, but 50% there, and he's scoring well. It's looking ominous for Mensah.
None of the ones he's missed has hurt him. He's won every leg when he's had a dart at a double. That is clinical from Gary Anderson.
He's getting out the blocks well in the legs. His first 9 average, 109. He's scoring really well from the start, not knocking the stuffing out of Mensah early in the leg.
$60.
12 points, the difference, 12 and a half in the first 9 darts thrown.
140.
He's giving himself the chances to miss those doubles, and it's not hurting him.
Yeah, that's he's such a heavy scorer. He's giving himself time on the double. 6 darts thrown and 2-2-1. He's looking good for this leg as well, to open up a 4-leg lead.
100.
Not much between them in the head-to-heads.
139.
This is their 10th meeting. Anderson's won 5. Vasiljevic is 4.
60.
Gary has won the last 3, though. He's been getting the better of Mensah since that defeat in last year's Champions League final.
30.
Again, 3 missed darts at a double, but they probably won't hurt him. With Suljevic back on 196 and struggling to find the treble.
82.
That's a good last start.
Gary, you required 10.
Double
5 then for Anderson for 7-3.
Just about to say the double 5 can be awkward, especially stretching up there with a bad back, but he made short work of that, and a 4-leg lead for Gary Anderson now.
100.
Oh, look at this. Look at this!
Just incredible to watch there, the grouping on the treble 20. And the threat of a 9-darter. Admittedly, only 3 darts in.
Suljevic under pressure on his own throw again. This has never happened to him in the Champions League. Not in Cardiff last year and definitely not here in Brighton. He's left to finish after 9 darts. But look at this. A second one of the leg from Gary Anderson. 41 remaining after 9 darts thrown. Suljevic can't take out 161 now.
76.
So 1 and tops for an 8-3 lead for Anderson, and surely this is a match-winning lead if he hits that red bit at the top of the board, which he does.
It's an absolute barrage of high-scoring, clinical finishing from Gary Anderson, and Mensah just can't deal with him.
Oh, yes!
140.
Came off the barrel of the first 2 darts and just landed south of the wire with a 3rd dart, but look at that, averaging almost exactly 100. And again, straight in the red bit. Ton 40 to start the leg.
He's constantly in that treble 20 at the beginning of the leg. Like we said, he's blowing Mensah out the water in the first six darts of the leg.
And he's really struggling now, Mensah Suljevic, to keep pace. He has been blown away.
Gary's such a quick player as well, such a rhythm player. It's happening in the blink of an eye as well.
Treble 19 would have left double 12, but treble 18 leaves double 4 for a 12-dart leg. Oh, he's 2 away from the final, and he is playing magnificently.
Absolutely phenomenal stuff from Gary Anderson. Just picking up from where he left off in that epic encounter with Michael van Gerwen this afternoon.
96.
And obviously with another game tonight, the final for Gary, if he gets there.
85.
With a bad back, the minimum legs played is better for him, more rest. He's in a great position here.
140. 125. 88, which you record 151.
6 darts from 151 must stem the tide. Suljevic wins from here, it becomes a famous win. Tops for a 151 to get some momentum, to get himself going. Not to be. He'll be back though.
On that last visit from Gary, he was relatively frustrated that he wasn't on a finish after 9 darts. He's been on pretty much a 2 dart after 9 darts in the last few legs. Mensah to stop the rot. 2 at 10s. Last start. This is pressure. Great down from Mensah. He needed that just to stop the rot.
Gary to throw first. Game on.
5 legs in a row since the break went to Gary Anderson. Suljovic managed, just found the corner of the double 10 bed to stem the tide and get back on the scoreboard.
100.
Still got a long way to go though if he's going to get back in this match. Gary's not relenting.
77.
Unlucky there, 57 points on the floor.
$59.
Just struggling to find the trebles now, Suljovic. The ones he needs.
Yeah, Gary's forcing him to miss though. He's putting Mensah under so much pressure. It's making Mensah know that he needs 140s and they're just not coming.
85.
Yeah, suddenly he's not having any fun, Mensah Suljovic.
No, we spoke about Mensah undefeated through the group, undefeated in this tournament, but the one defeat for Gary Anderson, he was very unlucky. He spoke in the studio about it. He didn't feel like he played that bad. Darryl just took his chances. And yeah, it's showing now. He's confident in the way he's playing. And he just put that defeat against Darryl Gurney behind him and just got on with the job.
You wouldn't put this past him either. Can't be done now. Needed the 2 treble 20s, 18s now.
134.
Just brilliant. Brilliant from Anderson. Suljovic must take out 117. 17. Yes. Tops. No.
77. Very rare, 36.
Force misses there. Gary Anderson putting pressure on first star and he leads 10-4.
They go for another break. Little Andy Murray-like limp off the stage from the Flying Scotsman, but his back certainly isn't adversely affecting his darts. He leads 10-4, first to 11, through to the final.
Anderson in prime form.
If it's going to be done, then it could be the greatest semi-final we've seen in the Champions League of darts. How's about it, Vassos?
Well, if it is going to be done, it will be, no question about it. If it is going to be done, Mensah Suljovic has to win 7 legs in a row. Gary Anderson with a brief break, walked off stage. Suljovic just stayed where he was. Looked a bit lonely, actually, up there on his own. 3 more practice darts apiece. And then George Noble will announce game on. And we'll see how many legs Suljovic can win, if any.
15th leg, Mensah to throw first. Game on.
Anderson is 1 away.
Yeah, daunting task for Mensah now. 7 legs on the spin needed against Gary Anderson. And
60.
Gary's in superb form. He's finishing well. 50% on the doubles. It looks unlikely.
137.
Well, the start of this leg tells a story, doesn't it? 60 from Suljovic, 137 from Anderson.
60.
It's been the early scoring that's done for Suljovic.
Gary just put his foot on the gas after that first break. And with the bad back as well, a bit of rest before the final.
He won 5 legs in a row from the 7th leg. And Suljovic didn't have a dart at a double.
44.
His back does seem to be hurting a little bit. But it doesn't seem to be affecting where the darts are going.
No, that is for sure. It's not affecting the way he's playing. He's keeping the darts straight.
He's left himself 168, which is not a finish, but he won't worry too much about it because Suljovic is back on 337. Make that 237. 6 darts from 168 for a place in the final for Gary Anderson. Big 8. When he comes back, he will have 3 darts in his hand, double top to aim at, and a place in the final at his mercy.
And that's what he's been doing from the break, hasn't he? He's just been setting up the shot in 9, 12 darts and taking it out, and he's done it there. Double top for Gary Anderson and a place in the Championship League darts final.
Quite brilliant from Gary Anderson. Bad back, brilliant darts. He's beaten Mensur Suljovic, who tastes Champions League defeat for the first time, and Gary Anderson is back in the Champions League final.
I'm okay, buddy.
What happened?
I'm happy. I'm playing semi-final. I'm not happy with this game. I'm so shit play. It's okay. Gary is my idol, my best friend, best player of the world. Okay, I lose on the best player.
It was an unusual situation for you to be in, to be chasing, because you have won every match so far that you have played in the Champions League last year and today and yesterday. So that must have been tough for you to be in that position first time.
Last year this year is different. I play okay, but semi-final, I'm not play okay. 4 start 5. I see, Mensur, what you doing. It's hard for me. Gary is better player. Win this tournament, win this game. Not this tournament. Maybe I hope I win this tournament when it's my friend and Michael is my friend. Gary is for me my idol, my best player.
On that break, Gary went off, you stayed up there. What was going through your mind?
I don't know. This is Gary going. Gary is a gentleman. This is nice player, nice guy. I'm not talking for this.
Mensur, you'll be back next year though, won't you?
I hope see you, buddy. You're here, I'm
So
here.
good.
Well done, Mensur. Everyone, Mensur, everyone, come on.
Do you all want a hug now? Oh, you don't want one.
No.
Apologies for the rude language as well from Mensur. They're clearly emotional. Gary, before we talk about you putting the foot down, a word on Mensur.
He's absolutely nuts. You know, he's absolutely a lovely bloke, and I hate playing. And that's the first time I've ever felt comfortable playing Mensur. You know, he usually does me like a kipper. I don't know what to think when I'm playing him. I play fast, slow, you know, and it usually does me. But tonight, I think, stood back a bit. Once he had thrown, I stepped and played at my own pace, which I found a big difference.
Well, you say comfortable. We saw you with the twinge. We've made you come up the stairs again. How is the back?
Oh, it was great until you made me come up the stairs, yeah. I know we'll be sending a claim form.
To these two, they're the ones with the cash.
Well, obviously, Gary, really big congratulations on making the final again. Close last year. This time around, have you got a preference who you want to play? Do you want another battle against Michael after this afternoon?
I would be. I like to finish off quicker than what I did. You know, I was lucky at the end, but if I'd stuck to my guns, I could have it done 10-4. You know, so I want to shot him.
Do you know what, Gary, as well? I watched that game in depth, and it's the first time I've ever seen you play Mensur, and it felt like you were dictating the pace as opposed to he was.
That's what I'm saying. I felt comfortable. You know, I stood back. Usually with Mensur, as he walks from the hockey, I'm right up at the back of him. But this time, wait till he got his darts, started to walk back, and I stepped in, and I can play at my own pace then.
Is that a lesson for everybody else who plays him? Just to give it a few more seconds?
No, I've watched Mensur. The quicker he plays, I reckon the better he is. You know, and I've said that. I said it to him earlier on today. The quicker. We've seen it this afternoon. You know, I think he finished the game in 21 minutes. It was absolutely fantastic, you know.
And playing in the first semi-final as well, you've got a longer break. You know, you like your rest. You'll be sat down ready or practicing?
Yeah, well, I was looking forward to it, and now I had to come up here. So I've lost at least 7 minutes worth it, you know.
Let him go, Stay there just a minute.
He's like a dog with a bone, isn't he?
He
oh my.
Enjoy it. Try and lie flat or do whatever you need to do.
I do.
Gary Anderson, then, our first semi.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Brighton Centre. This is the semi-final action of the Paddy Power Champions League of Darts. Coming to you live on BBC as we welcome the millions of viewers joining us around the world. Who will join the Flying Scotsman in the final? We're about to find out as it's time to meet the players. Ladies and gentlemen, a two-time winner on the World Series events, once in Germany and once in Australia. He is the former UK Open champion. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this party started! Snakebite Peter! Ladies and gentlemen, from the Netherlands, it's time to meet the reigning world #1. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been a world champion on 2 occasions. And now to go one better and to find himself in the final. Will he make it? Let's find out. It's Mighty Michael!
Says he's got the secret to unlock the world #1. That's some safe. Code cracking for a place in the final. Dan Dawson and Paul Nicholson.
The world #1 and the world #2 in a straight fight for a spot in the Champions League of Darts final. A 2-time world champion in Michael van Gerwen. Peter Wright, the man who only has 1 major title to his name, but so often frustrated in the final of many events by the man he faces here. 5 times he's gone up against MVG in a final of a big TV tournament, and he's been beaten, but he's come so close. He says he's got the secret to beat the best player in the world. He says he's not sharing it. Let's see if he can put it into practice here in Brighton and reach the final of this tournament for the first time in his career.
I love how he says that he's got the key, the secret. Can he unlock the bright green box?
Ladies and gentlemen, first
that is Michael van Gerwen. Van Gerwen's got the darts. No tiebreakers in this encounter. First to 11. If it goes to 10-10, it'll be sudden death.
125.
Both rocking tournament averages in excess of 101. It's close to 103 for Michael van Gerwen. They're the top 2 tournament averages here this weekend.
100.
But Peter Wright has not been his usual clinical self on the doubles.
59.
He will have to improve that, you feel, against van Gerwen, because if you don't take your chances, that's when he will just pummel.
Talked on many occasions about the tinkering of Peter Wright, but essentially the kind of dart that he's throwing in this match and in this tournament,
100.
he tends to score so much better with the skinnier dart. When he goes to the shorter dart that's a bit thicker, he hits doubles better with those ones, like he did at the World Match Play a couple of months ago. We've talked that maybe there's a possibility of him having 2 different sets on stage, 4 different scenarios. Well, he's only got 1 set up there tonight. He's going to have to throw them very effectively indeed, as van Gerwen leaves tops after 12 darts in the first leg.
All right, could leave a double himself. Down for the 19s. Oh, wonderful set-up shots from the pair of them.
Well, if that is a starter for what we're going to get, that's the Vichyssoise of all darting contests. What's next? What's the next course going to be? Great first leg.
93.
Well, what is guaranteed is that somebody is going to become a brand new champion here at the Champions League of Darts. Phil Taylor, winner of the inaugural one 2 years ago, Mensur Suljovic last year. And whoever does become a first-time winner, it's not going to be them, will have lost a game this weekend.
140.
Yeah, the streak is over for Suljovic. If he wants to reignite it, he's going to have to be back next year. That is not a guarantee, of course. You have to be in the top 8 in the world to get back here. So hopefully Mensah over the next 12 months will have a very lucrative time, and I see that happening, Dan.
First maximum from MVG, forcing Wright to take out a bigger checkout than he's taken out all weekend. Another one in there leaves double 16. And it just catches the barrel and deflects low.
First start was very good, but it went in very flat.
93.
Didn't allow him to nestle it underneath. The C84 is very big. 14 and ball. Gets the treble, double 11. Oh, the monster that is MVG has woken up after a disappointment in the afternoon. He's here to get revenge on Gary Anderson, and it looks like Peter Wright is the one in the middle to stop him, but it's not looking good for Wright right now. He's going to have to up that average of his somehow from 117.
Well, he's trying. Not a bad way to go about it. First 180 for Peter Snakebite Wright.
84.
Did beat Van Gogh in the last time he played him. That was in August. Down under on the World Series, on his way to the title, the Melbourne Darts Masters. Boos echo around the Brighton Arena. They want to see the perfect leg. We have had so
83.
many opportunities. 6 darts into it, 7 darts into it.
96.
Michael's had big 9 darters on the big screen. Peter has not. He's had a couple though. Those ones were away from the cameras.
125.
We would love to see one, because this tournament's had everything else.
139. Peter got 113.
Only going to get 1 dart at double, max. Well, treble 20 leaves the ball. And he's not going to get a dart. And so, MVG for 3-0.
How many 18s will he get? 3. 2 16s. Oh boy, he's in a rush. Peter Wright hasn't done much wrong. He really hasn't. But this is telephone number averages type stuff. And if Peter Wright doesn't get legs on the board quickly, Michael Van Gerwen is going to sprint like Mo Farah down the back straight.
Well, Peter Wright is averaging 115. He has not had a single dart at double in the opening 3 legs. This is
58.
Not like in the Mensah-Suljevic-Gary Anderson game, where Mensah genuinely could have been 4-0 up after the first 4 legs and didn't take his chances.
Already, Michael Van Gerwen is pulling his socks up. That's usually a sign that needs to improve. I think he's in some sort of mad mood. If you needed more proof, there it is. Pulled his socks up, hits a 180. Maybe you should do it every time, Dan.
Well, he averaged 111 to kick the tournament off yesterday afternoon in a demolition job on Dave Chisnell. And you see him just pulling the socks up there. He can improve this level of performance. I know it might sound fanciful, but he can. He's done it.
The Keith Della shot, the 1983 World Championship shot, 138. He's not going to get it. Van Gerwen took out 86 last time around. He might need treble 18 for this combo. He's not going to use it, because when you get a 1 there, you can't finish it off. Peter Wright should get a dart at a double now.
38.
Well, let's see what his finishing is like, because we've not had a chance to find out so far in this semi-final. 18's the target. Single 20 leaves double top. Peter Wright is on the board.
I think he needed that. He needed that, all right, because Van Gerwen straight back in his face. And there's a little number next to his name. I'm not going to talk about it.
Peter Wright certainly did need that, and he's going to lead a lot more of those kinds of finishes. It has been the one downer so far for Peter Wright this weekend. Just the 4 perfect darts.
Second dart in that visit was very good. It just banged into the middle of the barrel. It's got the leg by the scruff of the neck, that's for sure. And Peter Wright needed a maximum just to get on level terms.
81.
Well, this is Michael van Gerwen into the groove. Oh, so good. 3 trebles, 3 big trebles, all separate targets. That is, in my opinion, harder than a 180 in many respects.
Absolutely right. In electronic darts around the world, that's called a white horse. 888. What a leg of darts you've just witnessed. No prize for 10 darters, but that's only the second 10 darter we've seen this weekend. The other one came from that man right there, Peter Wright.
Well, this is absolute brutality on the dartboard from Michael van Gerwen. Peter Wright is averaging almost 110. He has been allowed 1 dart at double, which he hit.
100.
And he is in danger of having this game taken out of his sight and out of his reach in the very first session of play.
In the Premier League final earlier this season, Michael van Gerwen was playing against Michael Smith. Went into the break 8-2 ahead, was averaging over 120. He was aware that he was close to his own world record of 123.4. Ironically, he just scored 123. Came back from the break knowing that he needed a couple of really good legs to get over the line when it came to his world record average. And he thought about it too much. He didn't do so and only averaged 113.
Well, that's not enough to get to a finish. He does not need to go treble 20, treble 17 bull here, Peter Wright, but he may do it anyway. Well, he may have done had he hit that treble 20, just to try 65. And send a message to his opponent, because he is not playing poorly here, Peter Wright, but he is still being outplayed.
And Gerwen looking at 2 trebles over the top of that. He's found it. And again, pinpoint stuff from the Dutchman. This 96 just got a lot harder. 60 needed to get 2 shots at a double. Double. Where's he going first? Tops first. 18's second. Oh, there's nothing wrong with his doubles there. He's 100% on his doubles, but he's showing about 133%.
Well, he's hit 3 doubles and only won 2 legs. Make of that what you will. And that is potentially vital. And the crowd trying to lift Scotland's number 1.
Most valuable player, is he? He's definitely the most valuable Gerwen.
Well, he has won more than £6 million in prize money in his darting career. Peter Wright has won more than 2 million, but he's probably been denied in major finals alone another best part of another $500,000 by Michael van Gerwen. Last year, the Premier League final, when he made 6 darts for the title, that was £250,000 first prize. You've not seen many more expensive misses. And at that point in the year last year, you could make a very real case for Peter Wright being the best player in the world. There was a spell of 3 or 4 months when he was beating van Gerwen, beating everybody, and winning titles left, right and centre.
Every great player in the game over the last 20, 30 years has won a tournament that they possibly shouldn't have. I'm sure Peter Wright has had that too. And he's living with that last dart. Puts him on 92, but this 164 is under threat. Treble 18 for bull. Bullseye!
139.
That facial expression was as if he was sucking a lemon.
Peter Wright to go into the break just a leg behind. He can still do this. 83 remain, treble 17, leaves double 16. But he cannot find the treble, and MVG
41.
will come back looking at 25.
9 for double 8. Is it inevitable? Double 4. And he's got this, and he missed it this afternoon against Gary Anderson, but he doesn't miss it against Peter Wright. He's pumped up as van Gerwen. The most valuable player in this match so far is the Dutchman with a 5-2 lead. Getting 2 legs, because this performance from van Gerwen has been out of his top drawer, where he probably finds the socks that he pulls up.
Well, we see these guys so regularly. They do play loads of the tournaments. They skip very, very few of them. And this year already, Michael van Gerwen has shown that his A game is untouchable. His B game is almost beyond everybody else. But even his C game is enough to win titles because he has that aura. I know the people this weekend have talked about this aura of invincibility has seemed to fade a bit. People are beating him. Oh, look at this. Oof, can't find all three in the treble bed. But he is still the hardest person to beat just because of who he is. How do you shoot the devil in the back? It's the old Kaiser Sose thing.
Well, I know dart players will probably use a dart or possibly a bow and arrow, but on this occasion, Van Gerwen's taken the one off really quickly. He'll try and get a 60 around the bend, and he doesn't get it.
22.
He's talking to himself and telling himself off. That was a mistake, because he's left himself on something tricky. White needs 144, and he's not going to get it. Needs a treble, really. Doesn't get it. So now, can Van Gerwen break the heart of Wright again? 60 for tops.
79.
Well, he hits tops to leave tops, which is a little bit showboaty. But when he's in this kind of mood, he feels he can do anything. Bullseye for Wright. He still hasn't missed a dart at double.
He mentioned after he won this afternoon, Dan, that he was going to go and practice his doubles. He may just have actually cracked it with these newer darts and these diamond-coated points that look like a pair of Liberace's loafers.
A perfect start for both men. Van Gerwen cannot follow it up, and maybe this is where Peter Wright can make a move.
Go on, Peter, score 41. Play the mirror game. He doesn't. He stays professional. 2-2-1. 60 in front. Van Gerwen's back in the lipstick.
100.
Good opportunity here for Peter Wright, though.
That was less of a boo and more of a sigh from the crowd here at the 9-dart chance going.
Do you think they're losing faith, Dan? Peter Wright's not losing faith.
140.
I wouldn't lose hope just yet, not in the way that these two are playing, and our first confirmed finalist Gary Anderson is playing. 80 left for Van Gerwen, 81 for Wright. Only 1 point difference, but the 80 is significantly easier as a finish because he should get at least one dart at a double. Peter Wright is going to get one. A double top.
Oh, he's got that as well! He knows how to beat Van Gerwen, he said. Well, he's sticking with Van Gerwen in gear number 7. And this is brilliant, this match. It's boiling up nicely. And boy, we're not going to put our hand in the hot water because these guys are swimming in it.
This is an astonishing display of finishing from the world number 2, who has scored brilliantly all weekend, but it's been the checkouts that have let him down. He may have to keep this up all the way through to stand a chance because Van Gerwen is not letting up.
Standard of this game is ludicrous. Fabulous to watch. A great advertisement for the game. Van Gerwen eyeing up more trebles. He didn't want that one.
95.
Ironically, even after the 180 start, Van Gerwen has a small lead. We expected to be eaten into. Great switch from Peter Wright. Wonderful darts from the Mohawk.
Another maximum for Michael van Gerwen, piling the pressure onto Peter Wright. But when it has come to the back end of legs so far in this semi-final, he has been flawless. Can he continue it? He needs the treble 20 for another bullseye finish. How do you stop this man checking out?
guys at home realise what you're watching. Some of the best finishing you will ever witness on a dartboard. His checkout percentage in this tournament hasn't been great, but you can't get better than 100%. And like we said earlier on, he's actually hit 6 of them to win 5 legs. We've seen Peter Wright do this. He did it at the match play against Simon Whitlock, where after the first 5 legs, he did not miss a dart at double on his way to a 16-5 win. It was the greatest display of finishing I think we've ever seen in a televised game of darts. It was more than 3/4 of his darts at double hit. This could better it. I know it's a shorter format, but if he carries on in this manner, it really could be perfect. I think Peter Wright is going to keep this secret of how to beat Van Gerwen very close to his chest. There's a lot of people out there who would pay a lot of money for that secret. All Van Gerwen in this leg, though. All Van Gerwen.
Well, look, if the secret is do not miss a single dart at double in the entire match, then, I mean, it's one thing knowing it, it's another thing putting it into practice.
Execution from Peter Wright tonight has been out of the top draw, that's for sure. But 35, 2 16s to almost stop the rot. Not there yet, and what's Wright got? He's got a 160. He's going to believe, I believe. What do you think, Dan?
I think if the first 2 go in the treble 20, it might have happened, but we'll never know.
On the bright side, Peter, your 100% record on doubles is still intact. You may lose leg 11, though. That's all right. If you go inside, and Van Gerwen isn't as intense as he was earlier in the game, but that was an important leg for him to get back in front.
Well, Van Gerwen is still averaging 108. He's still playing fantastically, and he cannot shake Peter Wright off. We saw Peter Wright do this. That spell last year when he was arguably the best player in the world. He won a tournament in Saarbrücken in Germany. You'll remember it, Paul. You embarrassingly went out quite early on
to one of the finalists.
Yes, you did. Benito van der Pat's young Dutchman, who averaged 110 against Peter Wright in the final and still lost it because Peter Wright, having missed 1 dart in the very first leg, did not miss again at doubles in the rest of that final. Because he can just go through these spells where 93. It's just pure focus and concentration, and it looks easy.
And what did he take out in the last leg? 121 on the bull. Give him a bullseye. He can see it. He can see the middle of it, and he will hit it.
100.
Seven maximums for Michael van Gerwen in this game.
Is the tide turning towards the man in green again? Peter Wright needs a big, big shot with dart 3 here. Gets one.
91.
Will Van Gerwen get a shot at double 14 or the bull? It'll be double 14. He's got 2 of them. Gets it. 7-5 Van Gerwen. Fabulous game. Been a lot of tides in this one. It was all right a couple of legs ago, but Van Gerwen's wrestled it back.
97.
Stunning game of darts, but Michael van Gerwen does have the upper hand. And what does Peter Wright do? He's averaged 102 all the way through this weekend. It has been good from Peter Wright. But the games he's lost, one against Mensur Suljovic, who was fantastic in 106 average. This is even better from Michael van Gerwen.
How do you get better? You could say you have to get better against your nemesis. Look what Gary Anderson's done. He's learned how to beat Mensur Suljovic. Peter Wright has learned how to beat Van Gerwen. But on the odd occasion, Van Gerwen's just too good.
58.
Still 100% Peter Wright on those doubles, and it's just a great thing to look at. He's going to give himself more chances, and he keeps doing that. This could go very deep, and it plays into the hands of Gary Anderson, who's relaxing backstage.
It is another perfect visit from Michael van Gerwen. 174 to leave 72. And is this the first sign that Peter Wright is just faltering a little, just losing a little bit of belief that he can win this game? Double six.
60.
And two misses equal the chance for Peter Wright. He would love to get the 60. Does. Single 18. Everybody in here wants him to hit this. Will they get off their chairs? No! He's missed the dart and a double for the first time. The first miss by Peter Wright is punished, and it may prove to be a fatal blow. They will have a break after this leg. It's a huge leg for Peter Wright. If he doesn't win this one, that could be it. You never want to say that, but it's his throat. He's got to defend it.
135.
You've got to have a very cool heart when you play it.
100.
And it's Van Gerwen who's been a little bit colder tonight, but Peter Wright has got big reserves. He's going to need them now. Needs that first start to start finding that 60. He's having to throw that second one really hard.
100.
For an eighth.
120.
That may be very important, Dan, that bounce out. If Peter Wright gets a 136 or a 140 here, he's going to get one as well. Forcing Van Gerwen to hit the snooker shot. One of the hardest shots in darts. He's not going to get it, so Wright's coming back for tops. You've got to think he's going to hit this, and it's going to be 8-6, and it's still going to be tight.
To keep this semi-final very much alive. Normal service resumed for Peter Wright. Double top, pinned first dart. And the world number 2 trails by just 2 legs from the world number 1 in a sensational semi-final.
Go on, Dan.
This is it then, for the Wright to face Gary Anderson in the final of the Champions League of Darts. The final session of this semi-final. Michael van Gerwen, 8. Peter Wright, 6. A race to 11. Van Gerwen is smashing in the big scores. Visit after visit after visit. But Peter Wright gets even the faintest hint of a chance to check out, and it is going. This is what these two guys are famous for. It's what their success has been built upon. Van Gerwen's incredible scoring power, Peter Wright's ability to take out shots under pressure. And they are putting on a show here in Brighton. With both of them looking to win this title for the first time in their careers.
Game on.
Someone's going to win it for the first time, and it's going to be great for the game of darts.
59.
3 proven champions. That's why they're here, after all. Peter Wright wants another trophy. He's already made room for the World Championship trophy in his practice room. That's for later in the year. How much he would love to make an assault on the final. He's got a job on. He's got to stop Van Gerwen getting shots at doubles.
59.
He's got to ramp up that power score, and he's done a very good job so far.
Well, prior to last year, the best of Peter Wright's career, he chucked away all his runner-up trophies. Said they weren't good enough. He was fed up finishing second to Michael van Gerwen. So he binned them all. And he went on and claimed more than 10 titles in the year.
93.
It has not been as successful for him. He's claimed 3 so far, but he's been in 4 more finals. It could have been more.
He's lost to some very good players. And they've had to play their A game. Peter Wright's A game is admittedly better than a lot of other people's. But Van Gerwen's A game, I feel, is above everybody else's. Peter Wright with 81. Gary Anderson was popping this one off very well earlier. He's not going to go for the 12-in ball, but he has got a shot double 16. It's outside there. Van Gerwen will definitely not go for the bull, surely. He's done it before on the Pro Tour. 3 bulls. Gets one. A double 16 for Peter Wright. Will put him within 1.
A break for Peter Wright. This final session has started how he would have wanted, and throwing to level this match.
Great adjustment from Peter Wright. Only scores 62 though.
Great adjustment followed by pretty poor adjustment back to where he threw first time.
Yeah, Peter's darts do actually kink in the board. They lean to the right-hand side. So his perfect dart really is the top right corner, so you can follow them in. Should get a treble here. Does so. Michael said in his interview with us last night that it was a very, very long day. This one is even longer. Who's got the lungs for it?
.180, number 4 for Snakebite. Reeling in the world number 1.
58.
At which point, Dan, do we start talking about the energy that was sapped from Van Gerwen this afternoon? Is it taking its toll now?
And for the first time, Peter Wright's average has climbed above that of Michael Van Gerwen, at least the first time since the first leg or two.
83.
Van Gerwen on 3-4-7 after 9 darts is a worrying sign.
59.
He's given up this leg. Should be over. Based on the double statistics, Peter Wright, one shot at double 18, should be leg over. Isn't, but he will be back.
Well, a rare opportunity for Peter Wright to have a go at a double where he does not have to take it out. They're the ones he can afford to miss. And he can still afford to miss it because Michael Van Gerwen has had 5 visits to the board and not down to a finish.
Peter Wright is level, and I can't believe I just said that after the start Van Gerwen made. It's 8 apiece. Yet again, this is playing into the hands of Gary Anderson, because these two are knocking 7 bells out of each other. And Michael Van Gerwen is sans mojo. He just looks a little bit lethargic to me, and Peter Wright is exactly the opposite. He's aggressive, he's focused, and he's hitting his targets.
Well, the party will get started for Peter Snakebite Wright if he can beat Michael Van Gerwen here, because quite frankly, we've seen Van Gerwen do the sort of stuff he did in the first 2 sessions there to plenty of players, and they panic and they do not know what to do, and the game is just so far out of their grasp, it is lost already. Peter Wright found a way to stick in there and stick with him.
There's only one warning sign for Peter Wright, is that a couple of darts he's thrown in the last few visits, he's lurched his right shoulder a bit. Let's see if that rematerializes. Both times it happened on dart 2. It's okay this time. Seems to have fixed that, and very, very well. Puts himself on a very doable finish after 9 darts. Lamping the pressure on Van Gerwen.
99, Peter Garwell.
Unbelievably, Peter Wright could go into the lead in this semi-final. Treble 17 would have left the bullseye. Van Gerwen has a very similar finish. That is a loose dart and it could cost him.
It could, but this is a game changer for Van Gerwen. He needs treble 18. Isn't getting it, so like you said, Dan,
63.
With a small shot on dart 3 there, he might only guarantee himself a shot at the bull. Will he get the treble? He doesn't, so 16 in bullseye for the lead. It's there! Peter Wright's in front! Can you believe your eyes? I can't! Peter Wright's 2 legs away from the final.
Peter Snakebite Wright hits the bull, hits the front, and hits Van Gerwen in the solar plexus with another clutch finish.
140.
Have the wheels fallen off the Van Gerwen train?
84.
He was going so fast earlier on, he looked unstoppable. Peter Wright has got the answer. He's got the key. He's got the secret. What is it?
60.
This has been gutsy, but he still needs 2 more legs. Van Gerwen is his nemesis. He missed darts to win the Premier League last year, 6 of them in the final against Van Gerwen. At this tournament last year, Peter Wright could have got out the group stages for the first time and missed 8 darts against Gary Anderson. His doubling has been sensational in this match, but as we get towards the end, it could get nervy.
It could, just like that Premier League final. 101 left for 2 darts. Isn't going to get a shot of the bullseye.
97.
Does Van Gerwen have the magic in him to take a 137? Went for 57 for tops. Peter Wright might need to hit the double that denied him in that Premier League final to get within 1. Is it going to be double 8? It's going to be 16 for double. For 10-8 for Peter Wright. Sensational! 102 average and now 77% checkout rate is good enough right now. Peter Wright's nearly there.
100.
This is like Ali Foreman, where Foreman just punched himself out. Van Gerwen has thrown everything at Peter Wright. Leg after leg after leg, and he has weathered the storm and stood up to it. And now he has struck in the dying stages of this game. And the crowd are rightly singing his name because this is a stunning display.
100.
Well done. I'm a big believer in karma. Look at that 77%. That is incredible under this pressure. But karma, will it serve up a double 8 to go full circle from that Premier League final? Will he get a chance to rectify the history books? And Van Gerwen gets terrible karma there.
Yeah, even a dart in the 20 there would have left him on a finish. Can Peter Wright leave a finish? He needs to hit 2 treble 20s here to leave a finish, and he's not going to do that. So Van Gerwen still in the driving seat in this leg.
Ordinarily, when we started watching Michael Van Gerwen in the current form that he's in, he used to be in these positions and always get through it somehow. But people like Peter Wright have found out how to get over the line. Van Gerwen should, I say should, take double 18 for 10-9 behind. Double 9, awkward now. Great guide. Gets it. Van Gerwen's still in with a shout. He needs 2 legs. Peter Wright needs 1. This couldn't be more exciting.
Echoes of the Premier League final last year, when Wright found himself in this position, throwing to try and close out that final and claim the title for the first time in his career. He couldn't get the job done.
Is history going to repeat itself? Everybody who supports Peter Wright doesn't want that. They want him to get over the line and have an assault on the final. Easier said than done. Gets a ton. Very well done from Peter Wright. Didn't get a treble till his 6th dart.
Peter Wright won their last meeting down under, but Peter Wright also beat Michael Van Gerwen twice in the Premier League this year. in the league stage, despite not challenging for the playoffs himself. And one of those wins was in Van Gerwen's own backyard of the Netherlands, with 10,000 orange-clad Dutchmen screaming his name. Van Gerwen's got the darts. Has he got the score? He hasn't. Let off for the snakebite. Peter Wright hasn't hit a lot of trebles in this leg. He needs to start finding the red bit now. He hasn't found it.
59.
It's getting tense up there. We've had an incredible semi-final, but now we have the tense bit. Even the top 2 players in the world are not immune to nerves. They know they have both produced some stunning stuff in this semi-final. But it might be the scrappiest leg of this semi-final that wins it. We know who the crowd have as their favourite, and that's a brilliant visit from Peter Wright. He's 92 points away from getting to the final. Where's he going to go? Bullseye or treble 20? It may be the bull, because Van Gerwen got a treble to put himself on 96. He will get 1 dart. Double 8 for Peter Wright to seal the most magnificent victory against the best player in the world, and the double that plagued him in the Premier League final last year, missing it time and time again for the title. He hits it this time around to book his place in the final of the Champions League of darts. He said he had the secret. He was right.
Because Peter Wright stayed in touch, when Michael came off the gas, Peter was in striking distance and he got himself in front. Bit of a nervy last leg, but his finishing was superb under pressure, and he thoroughly deserved that win in the end.
Just give him that opportunity, give him that chance, and he made it count.
Yeah, his double success there was the key. It really was, because there was a lot of legs there. He was only getting 1 dart, probably maybe 6-7 legs in the whole match, and he was hitting them. So not just winning the leg, but denying his opponent the opportunity to take it.
I could show you any one of those legs, really. There were stories throughout it. We'll go to the 9-8, where he goes ahead for the first time.
Yeah, it was just, this was an important leg because he's just got in front. You don't want to surrender the lead straight away. But he was just so composed. He was focusing on the shot, and his ball finishing was unreal. And he showed it again there, and that just consolidated the break and put Michael under massive pressure.
Yeah, he's hit quite a few bulls tonight, hasn't he? And they've all been key ones as well, and at a right time. Timing we talk about so often. The timing of some of those were incredible, because Michael was either on a double or had 1 dart at it.
We have spoken previously about maybe he gets the wobbles, that Premier League final they talked about too. He seemed to compose himself.
All the way through. Even when he was behind and things were going tough, he kept at it, he kept his composure, belief in his own ability, and when the moments came, he knew he had to pounce, and that's what he did.
That final moment then.
Yeah. Composure was the key, because even in that, it was a relatively poor last leg, but when he came to the finish, he knew which way he was going, the 25-17 route and the double 8, which the double caused him all the problems in that Premier League final. He hit with his first start, and what a fantastic comeback from Peter Wright.
And you talk about composure, actually quite understated in his little celebration at the end. Just that, all right, I've done it.
Yeah, well, he probably knows in his head he's just played in a fantastic game. He's had to dig deep and come all the way through it, but he still knows the job isn't done yet. It's a semi-final. There's still something else to do in the matter of a final against another world-class player, Gary Anderson. So that's probably why he did that. Peter's not a big celebrator anyway, is he? He's not one of those to give it the old 1-0 back of the net. You know, sometimes does the odd bits and bobs, but generally keeps himself pretty calm and collective.
That little grit of the teeth, the little angle of the look. I was trying to read the angle. I think it was directed at his wife, Jo. Nihal's with her.
Oh, where there's a great man, standing right next beside him is a great woman. Jo Wright, Mrs. Peter Wright, how are you feeling?
Nervous.
You were ready to drive home, is that right?
Yep, I'm ready to get home and see the kids.
You thought it was over?
Yep, thought it was over. They're probably running laps around the house at the minute.
He puts you through it. Quite often the camera goes to you. What is going through your mind as his wife?
Just get them doubles.
Which he does on a fairly regularly basis, it has to be said.
But they've been letting him down in this tournament, so it's nice to start getting the doubles again.
So how do you think now he will prepare for the final? What will you say to him?
And he's in the final, I don't care. Just nice to get in the final again.
And how long does the artwork take to do then?
The longest has been 4.5 hours.
Today's one. And the pink flamingo yesterday?
Probably about 2.5.
It's a very unique look. Now, look, we've kept you from him. What will he be doing now without you?
Probably practicing.
Well, that's probably the best thing to do.
Hopefully.
Exactly. Joe Wright, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Caroline.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by the millions of viewers joining us now from around the world. This is the final! And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet the finalists. Would you please welcome the 2018 World Match Play Champion and UK Open Champion, a two-time Premier League champion, and a two-time back-to-back champion of the world, the Flying Scotsman, Gary Anderson! And now, ladies and gentlemen, a two-time World Series event winner, the former UK Open champion. And for one more time, let's get this party started! Snakebite Peter!
Ah, come on. If that doesn't get you going, nothing will. We've seen the defending champion go, the world #1 go. A new name is ready to be crowned. Who takes that final blow? Vassos Alexander is alongside Alan Warren a little.
So a 47-year-old and a 48-year-old, two middle-aged Scots and a friendly Sunday night game of darts? No, no, no. What we have here is the world #4 and the world #2. They have both beaten the world #1 today. We have the last two winners of the UK Open, and after today's magnificent matches, two men who will truly believe they are destined to lift the Champions League trophy in 11 legs' time. Let's hope Peter Wright brings his A-game to this final with a ruthless finishing of that epic semi-final of some 15-20 minutes ago, and let's hope Anderson matches it with his own A-game, the one that saw off MVG and Mensur Suljovic. This is the final of the Champions League. We will have a Scottish winner for the first time, but which of the Scots will lift the trophy? If the semi-finals are anything to go by...
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg is Peter to throw first. Game on.
We are in for treat. Right with the darts in the opening leg, and we're underway in the final.
Yes, get your tonsils ready and hold on to your hats. Two of the finest players in world darts. Yes, we will see a new champion. Which one of the Bonnie Scots will it be? Anderson starts with a maximum.
He starts like a runaway train. He starts like the Flying Scotsman. The perfect start to this final.
57.
And that number 9 appears next to his name. Can he follow it in with another?
140.
Still a fantastic start, though. The crowd was certainly interested when the fourth one went in. But we've had some extreme quality today, and this is starting to be exactly the same as Peter Wright gets his first maximum.
Brilliant, isn't it? Brilliant start from both players. Anderson threatening the throw of Peter
95.
Wright. Good last dart, snuck in the corner of the treble 20 bed. 86 when he comes back to nick the first leg against the darts. What can Snakebite do about
99. Very require 86.
Not very much if he takes out double 16. Which he does.
So the last start, the leg was up for grab, both players left themselves. A two-dart finish. It was Anderson who took it.
$45.
Two matches. Both players 26 in the tournament so far, and I'm pretty sure myself we may see a few more.
I think you can count on it, to be honest, Alan. One each in the first leg of the match. Gary Anderson, a two-time world champion, two-time Premier League winner. He's just won the World Match Play for the first time to become the third man in history to complete the so-called darting triple crown. Peter Wright. His wife Jo spends 2 hours every match day doing that hair and that makeup.
Does it take you as long?
More like 2.5 to be honest.
I saw you with a wig on before.
436.
Certainly plenty of work goes into that. His alter ego, but ultimately he does go up on that big stage and performs. Everything else is a byproduct.
Double 10 for Anderson for a 2-0 lead.
The leg is Peter to throw first. King.
No drama yet from Peter Wright, but he will be wanting to get that first leg on the board as soon as possible.
125
against Van Gerwen, but he kept at it, he kept his cool, he kept his composure, kept believing, and eventually got over the line. Long way to go yet.
Will it be difficult for Peter Wright to keep the momentum of that semi-final after a, well, it was a 22-minute break, we're told.
Yes, he needs that little bit of a spark early on. Gary's come out of the blocks very, very quickly. Imagine 112 at the moment, 2-0 up. Peter yet to get to that level. I'm sure it'll happen pretty soon. Could be happening now.
140.
He lost the first few legs against Michael Van Gerwen, but was throwing a lot better than this. He just wasn't being allowed a dart at a double.
Well, the first third leg he was 3-0 down and 112 average. That's how crazy that one was. Absolutely mental.
100.
Will feel he has to hold his throw here, and he's in a good position to do so, Peter Wright.
90. We do require 113.
Treble 19. Treble 18 for bullseye now.
Should stay there.
81.
Nicely tidied up.
Gary Anderson
Some fantastic finishes, notably the 140 to beat Van Gerwen in the last leg. He needs tops for a 145. Ooh, not quite, Gary.
His first dart at a double in the final. Peter Wright finds the geometric centre of the double 16 bed.
And you cannot underestimate the feeling you get inside when you get your first leg on the board. You almost feel like you've arrived on stage in the final. You have to get that first leg. Just relax a little bit more. It sounds easy, but it's so important to get that first one on the board. Then you're up and running.
That would have hurt, that 145 from Gary Anderson. Almost took it out, just missed the double top for a 3-0 lead. He has been suffering a little bit, he says, with a bad back, but it hasn't affected his darts.
Certainly not. We've had some incredible standard here in Brighton today. The last group games and the semi-finals, here now the final. We've been treated to a spectacular. But who will lift the trophy?
Gary Anderson lost the final last year, 11-9 to Mensur Suljovic. Peter Wright, in 2 previous visits to the Champions League, had not got out of the group. He has now.
If you're looking at leaving something, maybe less than 150, he'll take that now. He needs a treble to leave it.
100.
So just hanging in there.
Meter required 150.
Again, power scoring from Anderson.
Needs the treble 20s, or treble 18 and double 18. Unlucky.
Thought he might have stayed on treble 20 there. There was a lot of bed to aim for.
138.
Hitting it with good regularity. And that's gone now.
Straight for the double 19 and straight in. The double 19 for Gary Anderson. Good dart.
Good standard so far. Gary will be pretty pleased the way things are proceeding, but he knows he's got to maintain that. We saw what Michael Van Gerwen did
95
against Peter Wright. Came out of the blocks well in front. Peter Wright had his purple patch.
100.
The head-to-head between these two, Peter Wright with 13 wins, Gary Anderson 25. They've drawn twice.
100.
Their first meeting, these two Scots, back in 2009. But this is the first TV final between the two of them.
Plenty at stake. 20 at stake. The title, the trophy, the cash, the prestige.
$12 here.
132.
Leading tops if he comes back. Right to hold his throw.
Should be double-double. Yep. Ooh, not this time. Not this time.
For a double break. 2 10s now. He's edging further ahead, Gary Anderson. He has a look about him. And he has the darts at the start of this 6th leg.
Yes, he's kept up his power scoring, hasn't he? And when he's had the opportunity to tidy up the legs, he has done. Almost 10 ahead on the averages. It's pretty significant at this stage.
And all that power scoring is giving him the opportunities to
59.
hit more doubles. He'll take 50% on his doubles every day of the week, Gary Anderson.
Slip with the second dart there.
82.
Slightly recovered. He needs to get back to the standard he was setting in the latter part of his semi-final. It was outstanding
100.
in that third session against the world number one.
These two have met in the Champions League last year in the group stage. Cracking match that. Went to a deciding 19th leg, which Gary Anderson won.
I think there was a few darts at the double as well, if I remember rightly. Thought it could have gone either way.
140.
And if you want close matches, Peter Wright beat Gary Anderson 16-15 in the Grand Slam semi-finals last November.
59.
Scotland teammates, of course.
Should stay there.
128. You require 160.
Could do with taking this out, you know, Peter Wright. 820s, can't be done.
No, just can't at the moment get that spark. He'll still keep his composure though. He knows there's still a long way to go. So making that task a little more difficult. Next, Gary Anderson takes off. It's now 5-1 ahead. Almost halfway.
He's hit every other dart at a double, Gary Anderson. He misses one, he hits one. He misses one, he hits one. And he's hit 5 to Peter Wright's 1 in the 6 legs so far. There's a break after this leg. And it's a leg you feel already that Peter Wright must win.
Yeah, as you can get to the break and gather your thoughts, what's happened in that first session, come out firing as Gary Anderson is at the moment. Another maximum from the Super Scot. But players use breaks differently. We've noticed quite often a few players have stayed on stage. Some go off to have a little bit of a break in the heat and the environment. Certainly going to be a big break for Peter Wright. It's Gary Anderson with 2 fantastic visits to the board, leads double 8.
6 perfect darts from Gary Anderson. He stands on the brink of another break. This is probably academic, that maximum from Peter Wright, because that double 8 from Gary Anderson completes a dominant performance at the start of this Champions League final. He didn't like losing it last year in Cardiff. He is just 5 legs away from winning it this time round. Gary Anderson 6, Peter Wright 1. Here we go then. Can Peter Wright find his A-game? He needs it, and he needs it urgently.
Yes, and we mentioned again before, didn't we, that Peter Wright stayed on stage. A few players have done that over this weekend, where they've felt they needed that little bit of extra. They didn't want the break and go around the back. They stayed on stage, just trying to just maybe get themselves going. We saw that with Peter Wright in that semi-final. But as mentioned in the break there, he was actually playing well at the time and only 1 breakdown. This is a much more difficult task for Peter Wright, but it's not undoable. Gary Anderson is in prime form, is in prime mood, averaging high, scoring high, looking good for the Scot.
If you weren't with us this afternoon, Michael Van Gerwen had 2 darts to eliminate Gary Anderson in the group stage. A dart at double 8 and a dart at double 4. Anderson way back on 140, and then he threw the best 3 darts of his entire life. His words, the best 3 darts of my life. 2 treble 20s and a double 10 to win the deciding leg against MVG to stay alive in the tournament. And then in the semi-finals, he dismantled Mensur Suljovic, his former nemesis, 11-4. And he seems to be doing the same in the final. Peter Wright, what have you got?
59.
Yeah, he's got to start pretty quickly. You can only take one leg at a time. It's just not scoring heavily enough. That's okay. Leaves him on 1-2-7. Against the throw.
But here comes pressure.
140. We're doing 127.
We saw a sequence from Peter Wright when he took out 3 fantastic finishes. This could be another one. Oh, on the wire. That's the difference.
123.
Only his 3rd dart at a double in the entire final. 1-2-3. Treble 18 for bullseye for Gary Anderson. No, just short.
55.
So this is must hit now.
To tidy up. Over to double 4. Ooh, getting twitchy. Down for 2s. Great last start from Peter Wright. He kept his head despite being behind by 6 legs to 1. He hits that double to get within 4.
It's one of the breaks back, is what that is. Good dart at double 2.
100.
If he is to mount a comeback, he can look at that moment as the start of it.
81.
Yeah, it's got to be one leg at a time, though, from Peter Wright's perspective. He knows he's capable. But every leg you do take, it just gives you that little bit more confidence. Maybe your game will improve, your scoring will get bigger. Doubles sometimes get a little bit easier once you start hitting them.
45.
Gary's scoring's just letting him down at the moment.
Couldn't miss a double, could he, against MVG in the semi-finals?
And a lot of those were last darts as well, weren't they?
121.
Finishes on the bull, specifically.
Now the break has not helped Gary Anderson.
Peter Wright has to jump on that, he really does. He'll be aware of it.
100.
A nod of approval from Gary when the first dart went in the treble. And just when he thought he was safe, he fills in a maximum.
To leave himself on a finish, albeit a big one. 20 for bullseye. For 2 legs in a row. He was hitting them earlier this evening.
What that maximum has done from Gary, it's made Peter Wright have to go for the bull shot as well. He's not hit it on that occasion, but it just puts a little bit more pressure on him because he's only going to get 2 darts probably at a double here.
Big 9 first. Now, double 8. Yes. More like it.
It's not quite the game on shouting,
59.
but he's certainly making a big effort. We saw it in the semi-final. He was certainly playing a lot better in that match than he is now. The important thing is he's taken the 2 legs. He's got to continue to do that.
42.
It's not a good start.
Anderson to take advantage. But he's just not scoring since the break.
57.
Not finding those trebles. His average was up at 107 after 7 legs. It's now below 100, Gary Anderson. Peter Wright is creeping up.
But again there, Peter Wright, 6 darts. Hasn't hit the treble either. So both players with 2 poor visits. Who wants the leg? It's important. 7-3, 6-4.
6-4, and you have to say Peter Wright is back in this. 7-3, and the momentum is back with Gary Anderson. It is, as you say, it's a big leg.
9 darts from Peter Wright, yet to hit a treble.
135.
In a very, very important leg. Can't find it. Can't find it.
Not often you see that, is it?
No, not often. Not when they've been playing so well up to that point. You know, you can't expect him to hit a treble with every single visit. 4 visits from Peter Wright there, no treble. He'll be very disappointed with that one because it was a really big opportunity. It really was.
Finally hit the treble with a 13th dart to the leg. Is it too little too late? Gary Anderson's has troubles this leg, but double 19 to win it.
Yeah, it's on the 10th leg, Gary Anderson.
Second time he hits double 19 in this final. And he moves 4 legs clear again.
Poor scoring from both players, it has to be said. Gary cleaned it up pretty clinically there.
131.
Treble and double 19. His finishing has really been a key aspect.
45.
He's renowned for his scoring. His finishing has been impeccable throughout this tournament.
Hit 7 out of 12 today has Gary Anderson. 46 out of 100 darts thrown at double throughout the tournament.
It's pretty good, isn't it? Almost half.
Well, the way he scores, it's excellent.
Yeah, he's always going to give himself plenty of chances with his power scoring. Just not doing it in the last couple of legs, despite taking that last one, though.
170.
Doesn't need to go for this. I wonder if he would have done if those first 2 treble 20s had found the target.
100.
The last one does. 70 when he comes back. Anderson struggling. Look at that, 3-5-3. And still no treble. And still.
39. We do 170.
Treble 10. Big 20 for top of the shop.
30.
Not, that was a little bit too high.
A lot too high. But he'll be back.
100. We do require 40.
Still under no pressure, really, for this double top. Double 10.
Well, it has to be said, both players scoring has just been eluding them. Gary needs to get back on it pretty quickly.
100.
It's getting scrappy, isn't it?
Well, they're playing for a lot. They're playing for the title. They're playing for the trophy.
100 grand for the winner.
Oh, that as well, yes.
97.
That's a good marker for Anderson. Can he fill it in? There's your answer.
Of course he can. That's his 4th of the final. His 29th of the weekend. Is that what he needed? Will that get him going again?
Doing it on throw as well is very important. When you've got a lead, if you can hold on to your legs, even if you've not particularly played that well, 180 certainly help. It's a third of the leg scoring in one visit.
100. Very required 164.
Again, doesn't need to go for this. And he's not going to. 120 scored, so tops when he comes back.
Here's one of his favourites. Double top. To again, whole throw.
60. Now you require 40.
For 8-4. Yes, no problem at all. Gary Anderson. Well, he may have lost his scoring a little bit, but he keeps hitting those doubles. He's hit his last 4 darts at a double, Gary Anderson, and he is just 3 more doubles away from the Champions League title.
Yeah, that was certainly better from Gary. He's found it again. 13 darter in the last leg with a maximum, and starts this leg with the big one.
Yeah, the grand manner. Peter Wright responds in kind. But there goes Anderson, back in the red bit, and again, and again! Are we going to see the perfect leg of darts for the first time in the Champions League?
Oh, he loved that one, didn't he? He loved it. The crowd are feeling it. You can feel the tension.
Remember, the 50 grand prize shared amongst the crowd, not straight into the bank account of the players. So that's why the crowd are even louder and more excitable than ever when the 9 appears next to the players' names. So he can't now finish Peter Wright. This is for a breaker throw, a 10-dart leg, a 9-4 in the final. A 13-darter and a 10-darter. I think he's back in the groove, don't you?
I think that's safe to say. Had a couple of legs when he had a little bit of a holiday there on the big scoring, but it didn't take too long to come back. 26 darts for 2 legs. That's why
23
he's a champion.
91.
The break after this leg.
140.
Will it be Anderson 1 leg away? Peter Wright, fight back. We've seen it already today. Well, you've got to admire Peter Wright. He's not giving in.
41.
Only 41 from Gary Anderson. It goes without saying, but this is a leg that Snakebite must win. He must strike.
60.
And he's left to finish of sorts.
Well, it's the finish that really would get the crowd going, and him.
If he hits this, he doesn't want to walk off stage straight after it. He wants to stay on stage, but they will have an interval whether he takes this out or not. It's still on, another treble 20. Go for the bullseye with his last start anyway.
Desperate for a shot at the bull there, wasn't he? He really was. Should stay there.
134.
Good cover shot.
Media requirement 85.
This is important for Peter Wright.
20. Oh, double 5. 20 would have left the bullseye. Double 5 must hit. Oh, he's missed it. And these 2 8s to move to within 1 leg. What a marker that is. Of the title. It's all going Gary's way in this final. He's a leg away. He leads Peter Wright 10-4.
When you're at the top.
Happen, Caroline. He's got to win 7 legs in a row against the man many consider to be the second best player in the world, playing some of his best darts. 6 down with 7 to play. Peter Wright. Gary Anderson has been imperious. Almost knocked out this afternoon. Within a double 8 and then a double 4 of being knocked out by Michael van Gerwen, but then found the miracle finish, and since then he has not looked back.
Oh, Peter Wright can pull off the impossible. He'll have to change his nickname from Snakebite to the Magician. He's going to need more than magic.
1 leg at a time then, Peter. Starting with this one. You have the darts.
83.
Gary will keep his focus. He knows he's only 1 leg away.
140.
Continuing with his power scoring. He's kept the pressure on Peter Wright all the way through this final. Yes, Peter Wright hasn't played as well as he did in the semi-final, we know that. Gary is in prime form.
Oh, isn't he just? Yet another Anderson maximum, a 7th of the final, a 32nd of the weekend. He's on the brink, but Peter Wright doesn't want to go home just yet.
Well, he's left himself 98 and he's going to have to take it out. What a setup from Gary Anderson. He follows the maximum with a 165. Peter Wright needs a 98. Double 90 to stay in it. Oh, he's missed.
6 perfect darts from Gary Anderson, and he's 2/8 away from the Champions League title. Well, he may have a bad back, but his darts are red hot. Gary Anderson, well, he is flying, the Scotsman. He's just won the World Match Play for the first time, and now he can add the Champions League trophy to the trophy cabinet back at home. Gary Anderson, simply sensational.
Yes, congratulations to Gary, absolutely outstanding all day and impeccable in the final.
And how much is he enjoying this? He lost the final 11-9 last year to Mensur Suljovic. But from the moment he stood on the hockey this evening, there was only going to be one winner. And that winner was Gary Anderson.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. What an amazing tournament, and that's what happens when you put the 8 greatest players in the world together. What a brilliant final. You deserved it, and you got it. And now it's time for our presentation. Would you please welcome, on behalf of our title sponsors, Paddy Power, Mr. Ben Huxley, and ladies and gentlemen, Paddy Power himself. So, our runner-up, ladies and gentlemen, receiving £50,000 and his trophy, and it goes to Peter Snakebite Wright. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it truly is the moment we've all been waiting for. Receiving the magnificent trophy, £100,000, and ladies and gentlemen, delighted to say for the very first time in his career, we crown him the Paddy Power Champions League of Darts winner 2018, the Flying Scotsman, Gary Anderson!
Hello, everyone. It's not about me. It's about this man first up, Peter Wright. Give him a cheer. I'll get down. I know you love this crowd. There was a point when you came out, you were out here, and I kind of got the impression you were trying to feed off them to give you something else.
Yeah, I think I just ran out of steam. But what an amazing, what an amazing crowd. You know, first time here. Thank you all guys for turning up. Thank you. Brilliant, amazing. I just had nothing left in the final. I can't explain, but I lost to the best player today. Gary's playing. He's won the match player, the UK Open. You know, he's the man to beat at the moment. So
we saw that adjustment from you. You were up there talking to us about the doubles that you were going to look at. You managed to change that up too. How do you take from this point through to the World Champs?
Don't change these darts. Hopefully. I don't know. Yeah, well, I played really well with the darts. I just ran out of steam, as I said, for the final. You know, Gary's always going to play awesome, and so I lost to the best player.
Because you said to us that that's the focus for this year. You want to be world champ.
Yes, and it will happen. So I'll go and practice with these darts, and hopefully I'll play a little bit better in the next few tournaments coming up.
Can you tell us the secret to beating Michael van Gerwen? And you said you wouldn't until you've beaten him.
No, can't tell you that.
Hey, look, you're special no matter what. Give us the dance one final time. Peter Wright. All right then, how's about this? You're champion. You just turned to me and you said, no, I'm not doing his dance.
No, I can't dance, but I'll tell you what, the last 2 days I tried to hit the 9 data for this lot. You know, we had a good go, missed out at the end, but I reckon next year Paddy should be up to 100,000.
Take that moment in just for a minute. You've won everything in this game. Where does this rank?
I've done all right.
You've done better than all right.
I had a wee laugh with Peter says the 4 players, 3 are well over 40. Even Mensah's over 40. But you know, the crowds, they've been absolutely brilliant. You know, I should have known that because the last 2 nights I've not slept. Just listened to the noise outside my window in the hotel. What a bunch of party animals this lot is. But it's been good, you know. And thank you to Paddy. Double the money next year.
Now he's starting to get greedy. I tell you what, there's one thing. He didn't give you a 9 data. What do we think about that?
You said that, I'm trying.
We'll forgive you.
I tried.
We'll forgive you that one. What's the plan now? A big couple of months going up to Ali Pali?
Yeah, I've got 2 days back home now, and then Thursday we head back off to Ireland. What a lovely place, you know, the City West. Looking forward to it. You know, there's some cracking matches up there. Michael Smith, Eddie Lewis, you know, there's some cracking games. So, yeah, 2 days home. I might see my kids for a couple of hours, you know, so that'll be nice. But the little man, I love this trophy, I'll tell you.
You'll be back next year to try and defend it, because we've seen how tough that is.
Hopefully, I will do, yeah.
Let them sing you out. He is your champion for 2018, Gary Anderson.
It stung, you know. It stung when he lost that final to Mensah Suljovic 12 months ago in Cardiff. The Champions League moved to Brighton, and what a weekend we had. We were treated to some sensational darts, not least by our champion, Gary Anderson. He was desperate to hit a 9 data, but he was even more desperate to win the title, the one that eluded him 12 months ago, and it's another one to add to his collection. Gary Anderson wins the 2018 Champions League.
Couple of years, but you do get the feeling that he wanted this badly. The opportunities are going to be thin over the next few years because he is winding down. He doesn't play as many tournaments, and these mean a lot to him.
Thank goodness that's not going out round here. No one wants to hear he's winding down. For you, what was the difference today?
He just looked really determined. I mean, the only game he lost, he was very unlucky. So he was in a happy place with his form. He reacted well to the defeat to Daryl Gurney winning last night, and he's just been superb today, and he's a worthy champion. The big 140, Michael van Gerwen, stands out, and he's got what he deserves tonight, a worthy winner, stand-up form in this competition.
We'll remember that 140 for a very, very long time. It was an outstanding moment in this weekend in the tournament, but today he's just been an absolute machine on the scoring. He's always been good on scoring, but tonight he was impeccable.
We've always spoken about this tournament, that what you need is clearly that talent, that ability to finish, but you need a bit of the stamina too, and it kind of did for Peter Wright in the end.
You've got to be darts fit. We've talked about this a lot in the last couple of seasons. These guys at the top of the game are the most darts fit. They can play for up to 13 hours, 14 hours in a day. This is a grueling schedule on a Sunday when they've got to do this, but they're doing it a lot more on the tour now. Peter Wright does it a lot more than Gary, but ultimately Gary had a bit more in reserve today.
And I guess that's kind of what we've seen. The standard's gone up so much. This top 8, anyone can give anyone that blow.
Yeah, we said that early on, didn't we, about the 3 events we've had in the Champions League. The standard for this one has been outstanding. It really has. They've upped the game. The top players have really given us the big scores and the maximums. Not quite the 9-darter that the crowd wanted, but I think we've had everything else.
That little bit of pantomime. I mean, that's what we've loved, actually. Some maybe say it's a gimmick, but what it has done has delivered every time, just that energy rise.
Yeah, it's a good interaction with the crowd and the players. The players are willing the guys on. They want a 9-darter. It wasn't to be, but it's been a great audience, and the guys have thrived on it, trying to do a 9-darter for them, and it's made these guys perform.
Not that one to play to an audience. Did you like the 9-darter?
Double the money next year.
Yeah, you're used to those boos. No, sorry, I don't mean it.
I'm home now.
Clearly Gary Anderson, worthy champion, but who's your player away from him that stood up?
Peter Wright in that semi-final. Phenomenal stuff against Van Gerwen. The ability to do that under the pressure he was under. He made Michael Van Gerwen submit at the end just with sheer brilliance, and it takes a real special guy to do that. But we've had Sulevic, we've had Gurney go better this week. It's been a fabulous tournament.
Michael Van Gerwen, a lot of talk going into this tournament was about him, and yeah, you're disappointed with his performance?
Yeah, it just didn't happen today. He started off like a training age day, Chisholm. We thought then there was only one winner of the tournament, but just didn't happen today. He couldn't get over the line against Gary Anderson, and he let a big lead slip against Peter. He'll be kicking himself, but he needs to regroup now. There's a lot of tournaments to play.
Daryl Gurney, some real moments from him of class.
Yeah, he did really well, didn't he, early on in the group stages, but he'll be absolutely gutted. I mean, we spoke about the 140 finish, how good it was for Gary. It certainly wasn't for Daryl. I mean, at the moment in time, he must have thought, I'm out, and then all of a sudden I'm through. And then bang, just taken away with that massive finish. But all these players now will move on to the next event. There's so many big events now. They'll move on for the next couple of weeks. There's loads towards the end of the season, one coming up in Ireland.
Well, and maybe it was lazy from me to look ahead to the World Champs, because we all like looking forward to that at Christmas too. But who comes out? Clearly Gary Anderson, but who else comes out this with credit going into that?
Definitely Peter Wright, because of the finishing aspect of his game earlier in the weekend wasn't brilliant. He went away, he told us, he promised us in the studio that he was going to work on it in the break. He did, and he came back flourishing in doubles. And you just get the feeling that he is probably going to make his biggest assault on a World Championship this year, Peter Wright. The clock is ticking for him as well, so he feels that this may be his year. Might be right.
We had 2 glorious years in Cardiff. Here in Brighton, how has that venue changed things for this tournament?
Absolutely loved it here. The crowd have been really, really loud. They've got involved in all of the games, certainly with the 9-dart extra, that certainly helped. It's very loud and close here, so on stage I'm sure you can hear everything, all the shouting for you and against you.
This was your decision to stand here.
Of course it was.
You're milking it.
Sorry, what are you saying? Yeah, I mean, they're here now. Absolutely, they've loved it. They're always part of the event. You know, you've got a major tournament in a party atmosphere. That's what the PDC gives you. It's different than most other sports.
We are back here this time next year. We'll be back here with Gary Anderson able to defend that title.
Yeah, of course, and I expect to see some new faces as well. The PDC circuit is so competitive. We'll see some players returning, some more players making their debut. It'll be another exciting tournament next year.
Yeah, I totally agree. And obviously, being defending champion, he gets an automatic invite to come back if he somehow drops out the top 8 in the world. But I don't see that happening, because he's won so much in the way of ranking points in the last year or so. But will he be back as good as that? That's some performance to top. The fact that he's got one of these, he's got 2 world titles, he might want to get a second one of these. He's trying to tick things off the list, Gary Anderson. Hasn't got a Grand Prix yet. That's next week. Maybe he wants to make an assault on that and come back. here to defend with a Grand Prix title as well, and maybe another World Championship.
You are a hard taskmaster.
Of course I am.
Yeah, keep pushing them, demanding more and more. And that's the key, because this will have done a lot. There are a lot of young darts players and fans in this crowd too will have enjoyed this. I've enjoyed it too. We didn't get a wig on any of you. What we did have was a big hug from Mensur Suljovic. Can we have one of those?
Go on then.
All right, there's the hug. That's just for Mensur. I enjoyed that. I've enjoyed plenty this past couple of days. What a fitting champion. From 8 to 1. Not just any champion, a Scottish champion, a Braveheart. Good night.